Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of Polygon's Matic, taking a look at the recent price action and what I think is likely to occur next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button, I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, guys, you are missing a trick. Check it out, linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7 and it's the first place that we go to notify you of everything that is going on in the crypto space. So why not check it out, linked in the description below. Let's go right into this though. So Matic here paired up with USDT on the hourly chart, and Binance is the data source. And you know, we can actually just reflect on an interesting kind of structural move to the downside here. We have this corrective structure finishing off down here within a 5-wave move, just finishing that off, and we can see that this kind of bottomed out right down here around the 74 cent or so. Okay, now this obviously comes from peaking up here recently in November of 2022. Okay, so we have that correction coming down. We obviously failed to go down lower than the original corrective move. Actually, it's over here. So we can still think of this maybe even still inside this C wave structure with still some potential to the upside to still be had. Alternatively, we could also look at it as a move to come on down, and this is just a B wave movement. So there's a couple of different variables here that we need to kind of focus in on. So let me just bring it into the 4-hour chart and just scale this down, right? So we can take a look at this A wave over this side to start with, right? We're going to take this peak, we're going to take this low point all the way down here, and this is going to be, let's see if I can get it right in there. It was at 60, so I need to come down just a fraction more. There we go. Okay, so this was basically the June 2022 low, right? And in the case of Polygon's Matic, it's held it incredibly well. At least at the moment it has. I still expect us to come down lower, but if I go ahead and actually just take this and pull this over to our recent lows over this side, we can still see that there's the potential to push up a fraction more before maybe pulling down. So this bear market rally could potentially be still having some more room to the upside. At the moment, it did get rejected from this high just up the top here previously. And this high comes in at about 130.71. Okay, just fractionally above the 130.6, which was the invalidation of 5 waves. So as we kind of look at this and we kind of think about the current structure of where we are, there's a couple of things that we need to consider. One, we have this as a B wave move and we're coming down. Okay, because we do think down is the way that we're going to be heading overall. Alternatively, we haven't finished that C wave structure that I was just pointing out, and we have this A, this B, and then we've got to come up here into C. Okay, and obviously those highs can be potentially bordering on and pushing more towards the $2 range. Not thinking that's likely, but you know, it's something that we should consider. I think the most likely scenario is that we just continue to correct down slowly over a period of time. I'm not thinking it's going to be like a straight drop or anything like that. There's still companies that have gone bankrupt that you know, have got Polygon's Matic's token, and at some point they are going to enter the market, and there will be some selling pressure that will be from the back of the likes of FTX, Alameda Research, Genesis, and BlockFi, and so forth, right? All these different companies that have been going bankrupt. And so there's a bit of exposure to Matic that could still see us with that kind of significant selling pressure that drags the price down further. Not only that, our structure here from the peak up in December of 2021 does show us that we do need to come on down. We haven't finished this this move to the downside, in my opinion, just yet. So yeah, we are still looking for lows, but we aren't there just at this moment in time. Let's come back into our hourly chart and let's just focus in on this actual high point just up here. We have a 335 corrective structure right up here. Okay, so this is basically the 21st of January 2023, right? So about 3 or so days ago. So we can see here that this was a 335. We correct on down, and this correction to the downside does look like it's complete, at least on this smaller time frame. You can see it right in there, A, B, and C, kind of finishing it off, and we have lots of kind of overlapping structures and all that kind of stuff. Then we start to move on up. We found support at the moment right down here on our 200 EMA, so that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go out here and say that it looks like we're probably going to be pushing up next. And I would still look at it as 3 waves. I don't think we've got enough structure in here to think of it as 5. So instead what I'll do is I'll kind of take our current and existing kind of low level support on the 200 EMA and then see us moving up maybe to 105. So when we start thinking about that, it would look something like this, but it's still possible that it goes up a fraction higher than that, up towards the 1.236 level there, which would be 10754. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and delete the fibs off, and we end up with this yellow box targeted range right at the top here, where you can kind of see that in there. Okay, so that kind of means that we end up with this potential break to the upside. Now, all in all, though, I would potentially think of this as maybe A, B, and C, and actually we do break up higher than expected. So it could be that we actually end in 5 waves again, in the same way that we had with this overextended C wave on that side, or at least the A wave. This would actually take us out more towards $1.10, with the potential to push to $1.13. So I'll go ahead and just draw another little rectangle on there. That'll be for the overextension within a much bigger movement. Okay, so it's possible that we do see some kind of bigger stretch with that C wave, but for now, we'll focus in on the smaller ones, and we'll see how the waves develop as to whether or not we end up with those 5-wave structural points, pushing us up higher. So $1.05.7 to $1.07.5 seems to be the obvious area at the moment, with the potential to push this up significantly higher to more to the $1.10 and $1.13 range as listed there. All in all, though, we do end up with a very interesting overlapping structure, and if we were to think of a really good and big run on Polygon's Matic ahead of any major crashes, then I would say that, yeah, we would be pushing back up into these high ranges way past that resistance at 130, but I don't think that's something that we can really focus in on just yet. So in terms of everything that is going on, I'd be saying, yeah, let's enjoy this little bit of a push to the upside. I do think that's the next move. We found support on the 100 EMA. Currently got to get past the 50 EMA on the hourly chart, but that's not overly too difficult to do. From our daily time frame, though, we do see that we have corrected down quite nicely up here. So momentum is shifting around quite well for Polygon's Matic on our daily chart. So that's given us pretty much some good confidence in there. But you don't think we're necessarily through the worst of it yet, because when we come up into our weekly time frame, we are overbought. So I'm expecting momentum to kind of bounce around a little bit when it comes to our daily chart. Okay, so we obviously have some progression upwards potentially on the smaller time frame stuff like the hourly chart. We can see that momentum is definitely in our favor on the daily chart, but not so much that of the weekly. The weekly chart tells us that we have more bearish kind of times to come here, so being a little bit cautious. We are going to be looking at seeing how this kind of plays out, but as you can kind of see here, my expectations are that we're in some kind of B wave structure and have been since June, with a move to the downside afterwards. This kind of comes in line with thinking that we haven't necessarily finished moving down with Polygon's Matic. And as I said, with the exposure that Polygon Matic has to some of these other companies that have been going bankrupt, I would expect some selling pressure to occur that may impact the price. I don't know for certain, obviously. It all depends on whether you get a balance between the demand and the supply. But if the supply does drown out the demand for Polygon's Matic, then yeah, I think essentially we will be looking at some fresh blood in the streets and some fantastic deals on Polygon's Matic's token. I'm going to leave this video there. Nice brief technical analysis. Keep you nice and up to date on what is going on. If you found it useful, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new, subscribe. Join us down in Discord. Guys, until the next one, have a fantastic day.